Yes, sir. What it do, baby guys? Welcome back to the Sixthman Sneaker Channel. We're here to talk about the differences between the Air Jordan Retro 1 High and the Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid. So the Air Jordan Retro 1 High actually originally dropped in 1985 with the band colorway. And the reason it's called the band colorway is because Michael Jordan couldn't wear the shoe during the game because it did not meet the color codes or the color expectations for the NBA. So they gave him a fine, but he wore the shoes anyway. Nike jumped in, they paid the fine, and then it catapulted Michael Jordan to stardom with the sneaker brand. Now, the Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid is a spin-off of the Air Jordan Retro 1 High that I think came along in 2000s era, early 2000s with the first original Jordan 1 Mid, and then that shoe again had its own history going through times with changing the different colorways for the shoe to have its own history. But the Air Jordan Retro 1 High is like the premium model of the brand. The Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid would be like the standard or the non-premium version. And then you also have an Air Jordan Retro 1 Low as well. If you want to make a good comparison of these like models of the Air Jordan Retro 1 High, the Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid, Air Jordan Retro 1 Low, think of like going to get gas. You have the 87, you have 89, and you have 93. So you have different values as well on that gas. Premium, 93 is the highest, 89 is mid, and then the low is the lowest, or that'll be your 87. So as a beginner reseller, that is good to know that the Air Jordan Retro 1 Low is going to be a better price point at retail. The Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid is going to be, slightly higher, but not as expensive. And then the Air Jordan Retro 1 High is going to be, again, a higher price point, but sometimes it can give you the greatest return. The Air Jordan Retro 1's models that I have available here today will be the Air Jordan Retro 1 High Volt and the Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid Band, okay? And the reason I brought these items along with me because they actually are a little tricky when it comes in calculating the value for what these shoes cost. So the Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid at retail is about $115 to $120, while the Air Jordan Retro 1 High is about $180 at retail, and then it can resell for $280, $350. But this model for the Air Jordan Retro 1 High actually only resells about $230, okay? The Air Jordan Retro 1 Volt, okay? As you can see here, it has the black toe color scheme, and the changes or the differences in between the two is going to be the Volt color that's around the ankle guard, and then you have the gold that is on the heel, while you still have the other similarities as the white toe, and then the black mud guard or the black toe, which gives it that silhouette name. Also, for this sneaker, which is different from the OG or the original, it's going to be the exposed tongue. As you can see the foam is not completely sealed in like most models on the Air Jordan Retro 1. And then you have a translucent reverse Nike Air tag that is on the front of the shoe to make this sneaker for the Air Jordan Retro 1 High version unique. Also, the midsole is going to be cream color instead of traditional white with a black sole, okay? So that's just this model for the Air Jordan Retro 1 High. And again, is some differences between the OG and the original. And for this shoe, because of the style, because of the differences, and I believe because of how different it is from the original version of the Air Jordan Retro 1 model, I believe that's what caused the value of this shoe to be less than what typical Air Jordan Retro 1 model resells for. As a reseller, you have to know the differences between what may have a high value and what may not have a high value, and that's going to take into consideration what's the style, what's the colors, the height or the quantity around the shoe, and then also what's the history tied up with that shoe. And so for that one, you will have to spend $180 to purchase, and then you will only be able to resell around $230. And if you have a plug or if you have an insider for these sneaker companies, you may have to pay a little bit more. You may be paying $210, $220, and to only go back and sell it for $230, that is not a good return on your investment, okay? While you have, as we look at the Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid, we have a beautiful shoe. However, it's not as popularized because it's not an original, okay? You do have the original colorway for the band. You have the red sole. You have the white midsole. You have, I'm talking about very, very similar to the Air Jordan Retro 1 High version. However, you do not have the height. The Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid is about an inch shorter than what typical Air Jordan Retro 1 High models are. And as well, the tongue, as you can see, is not as padded. It has a Jordan Air stamp on the front on that tongue. And then the inner sole or the ankle support is not as well padded for the Air Jordan Retro 1 High model. But if you were to compare the two, which shoe will have a better return on investment? This actual Air Jordan Retro 1 band model will have a higher return on investment because it points back to more so history with the style and color. Aesthetically, people are attracted to this color scheme more. And the Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid retails at $115, while the Air Jordan Retro 1 Volt retails at $180. And just because it's a cheaper model, now you have more room to add on for profit margins. You can resell more of these probably over the Air Jordan Retro 1 Volt because you have more people who will buy a shoe or purchase a shoe that has a quality look at $180, and this shoe retails at $115 versus a shoe that retails at $180. Then you have to resell it for $230, and that'll be a tougher sell or a tougher pitch where it may not be original color. It may not speak towards that history. And now as a reseller, you have to learn the difference between what shoe, not because of the name, not because it's a high, it is actual a shoe that can bring value to your portfolio, okay? So when I say sneaker portfolio, I'm actually speaking to what shoes you have in your inventory. Your inventory is gonna be made up of a lot of different shoes, Nike runners, Jordans, Yeezys, and you have to start learning what colorways are going to be the best and what style and version of that brand is going to be the ones that you should pick up. So try not to get caught up in the names, try not to get caught up in what you like. You have to really, again, like I said in videos before, look at your market research, okay? Based upon my research in looking at these shoes, which one should I invest more money in? I actually invested more money in the Air Jordan Retro 1 Mid band because the colorway, the history, the price point, and the hype around that shoe, okay? Versus the Air Jordan Retro 1 Volt High. In name, oh, it's an Air Jordan Retro 1 High. It's gonna sell very well. However, but by doing your market research, you see that the colorway wasn't as popular. You see the style maybe be harder for people to wear items with. And then the quantity value, the quantity, how many pairs were produced will affect the value of the sneaker. While the Jordan 1 Mid, readily available, but because of that colorway and it kind of ties back into Jordan brand history, it's going to be an easier pitch and an easier sell than what the Air Jordan Retro 1 is. So again, don't get caught up in the Air Jordan Retro 1 High name and title. Do your research on your sneakers to make sure that you're making the best decision for, again, your region, your area, your market, and so that you can include more people in with buying your shoes. If you walk up to a random person on the street, would you be able to sell it to them without all the extra tricks of the trade, with all the extra gimmicks? Would you be able to sell that product by itself And if you were to take these two, I believe that the Air Jordan Retro 1 band model would be a better choice out of this scenario. So again, that was just me teaching you guys how to differentiate what shoe you should invest in, why I invest the way that I do into certain shoes. And if I have an Air Jordan, I try not to get caught up in what other people deem as popular. I try to look at what would be the best item to sell. So that's how I kind of pick out my shoes. So again, if you like this content, if you were able to learn something, share it with a friend. And also like the video and comment if you have any questions for me. I love to answer you guys' questions and interact with you. This is the only way we'll make the videos better. And so please comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to learn for the next video, and share it to a friend who's trying to get into a sneaker reseller. So if you have a brother, sister, a cousin, siblings, or any family member that's looking to get into the sneaker industry, and friends, please point them to my channel and tell them to drop some questions so that I can answer it for them. And we're going to build this community, and we're going to make you a better sneaker reseller. So always remember that Sixthman, when you can't go anywhere else, when you can't find out your merchandise, when you can't find your product, I will always be your first option, not only for the sneakers, but for your resale knowledge.